Luke, how we doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Let me move this over to you a little closer. What's it? Well, let me just start with this, man. You should still be in high school. You're in it's the second semester of your senior year, but you're early enrolled here. What's it been like? I hate to ask that broad open of a question, but just walk us through what it's been like since you got here.
Yeah, to be completely honest with you, it's like drinking from a fire hose. It's a lot of stuff's getting thrown at you. And you kind of just have to take it. Each day it just keeps getting easier and easier. But in the locker room, I'm surrounded by a lot of great dudes who have kind of taken me under their wings and shown me the ways. And, it's a great coaching staff, and they're always looking out for me, checking in on me. So, super thankful to have them.
Now, in high school, for those of y'all that don't know, Luke was a 5-star quarterback recruit, but he's a true freshman, went to Benedictine Military Academy in Savannah. Now, your first, 2 years, you were behind, I'm blanking on your starter's name.
Holden Gerner.
Went to Clemson, very talented quarterback, and you actually played safety. So, you're not just a quarterback, you're a great athlete, but you're no stranger to having to maybe learn for a little bit. But you found a way in those first 2 years to still have an impact on the team by going to safety. How does that carry over to college now? Like, even though you're the youngest guy in the room, how do you still have an impact? How do you find ways to help the team out, whether it's during practice or, I guess you haven't played games yet, but
yeah,
see where I'm going.
Definitely. Yeah. I don't think Coach Norvell would let me play any safety while I'm making my turn. But, just coming to practice every day and being in the meeting room and also out on the field, just, bring my A game and coming to compete every day. I think it will push the other quarterbacks, just bringing that competitive nature and going out there and competing with them and trying to push them to be their best, all while trying to do my best. I think it'll bring a really good aspect to the quarterback room and it will make everybody better.
What element of playing quarterback, at least one spring practice and a tour of duty, I realize, but so far, what element has been the most different from high school to college?
Learning the playbook. A lot of people say that the speed is a ton different and it's hard to adjust, but I played Georgia football at a high level, so the speed was pretty fast. But learning that playbook, especially Coach Norvell's, he's got a very complicated playbook. But I mean, it shows up and it works out there. So that's definitely been one of the hardest things for me is just learning the playbook and memorizing it, and just trying to learn all that as well as, bring it out to the field and do it correctly. That's probably been the hardest part for me.
What was, how did that translate to yesterday as, again, your first official collegiate practice? You've, I'm sure, been studying the playbook since the minute you got here. Once you were doing it live, though, like, did you know more than you thought you did? Was it maybe a little?
Yeah, no, it was definitely, I knew a little bit more than I thought I did. When you're in that heat of the moment, it kind of just pops into the brain, and you kind of get ready to go. But there were a couple of times where I messed up on a couple of things here and there, but it's all part of being young and learning. And the coaches, they're working with me every day, so just getting better day by day.
Awesome, man. I got a few questions here. Again, folks, if you want to throw questions in the chat, please do. And Kev will put them on our fun laptop off to the side. I will read them. Luke will answer. Have you gotten the chance to speak with Ward, Winky, and or Jameis Winston? And what about any interactions you've had with them stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, Charlie Ward, I attended the Orange Bowl with the team, and it was really, really cool. Charlie Ward, I guess before every game, he texts the quarterbacks, and it was really cool. He added me into that group chat, and I was able to read one of his texts, and he also texted me separately, just checking in on me, seeing how I was doing, which I thought was really, really cool. And then I've also been around Jameis at one of the practices on one of my visits. He was there, and I got to hear him speak to the team, and we had a little side conversation too. And he's an awesome dude, a great dude, and I was just super fortunate to be able to speak and get text from those dudes who have had a ton of success here.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think every diehard fan smiles a little bit at those moments. Again, we all know Charlie Ward's a great individual, but hearing that he takes time to text the early enrollee who's at the Orange Bowl practice is really, really cool. As a freshman quarterback, how do you approach practice with an all new system and all new players?
Yeah. I approach it with the same mindset that I approach everything. I'm going to compete. I'm going to work. I'm trying to come out and, put my best foot forward and kind of just go out there every day and compete. I know as a freshman, there's going to be times where I'm going to make mistakes because I'm still young. But it's just being able to make those mistakes and not let it ruin the rest of my practice and kind of just overcome the adversity and, just wash it and go to the next play and just, get better.
So, yeah, I mean, I imagine you got to kind of have that balance, right? Of like being able to reflect on mistakes, but not dwell on mistakes.
Definitely,
Right. And is that something that comes pretty naturally to you, or is that a skill you've had to develop throughout your career?
I think I've had to develop that throughout my career. Nobody likes getting yelled at. Nobody likes taking criticism. Right. But, as a quarterback, that stuff's going to happen. That, things are going to go wrong. You're going to mess up a couple times and, you just have to be willing to, take your tongue lashing and kind of just save it for later and figure out what you did wrong and just improve on it. And so that's kind of my mindset.
Yeah, man. In the vein of life advice that you never asked before, I had a mentor that always said, realize most of the time people are yelling at the action, not the person, right? Like just accept that it's what you did, but they're not yelling at you as a human. And that's a good question. So how much did participating in the Orange Bowl practices help you out? And let me back up. How many practices were you able to participate in? What was your involvement in those practices? Were you able to throw in everything? Were you just there as an observer? What were you able to do?
So a little bit of both. I was able to participate in all the practices, but I just came off of my season where in the last game I had suffered an ankle injury. So I was still dealing with that. So still wasn't 100% out there, but they were able to throw me in there in a couple times, and I was able to throw routes on air to some of those guys, and kind of just get a feel and watch how a college practice works and how it operates, and just kind of see the speed of everything. So it was a great experience, and it definitely helped me out.
Yeah. How much did that help kind of maybe, let's talk about maybe your study when you're looking at the playbook for the past 2 months. Was it really helpful to at least have some concept of, okay, I know who's going to be this receiver on this play, and I've seen him run in person before?
Yeah, it helped a little bit, but it's still a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And they kind of throw it all at you at once. But I've just been scheduling meetings with some of the coaches, getting in some extra quarterbacking time, and just learning the playbook as much as I can.
Since you were a safety, did you cover Hakeem?
I'll say yes, just because
he's not in here.
I can cover anybody. I'm an athlete. I'm a football player. So, I'm never going to not say I can't do anything, but, it'd definitely be a pretty big challenge. He's a pretty big wide receiver. So, yeah, I think he might rough me up a couple of times, but I definitely wouldn't be afraid to do it.
He played a lot of slot in high school, man. So if you're playing safety, that's you got to come down and get to him.
I'd probably stay pretty deep, not let him run by me.
I'm in a deep zone. Just what are your goals for 2024? Maybe broadly, but also it's one or two specific things of your game you really want to tune up this year.
Yeah, kind of in a broad sense, I want to make it hard for the coaches to figure out that depth chart and kind of put people in their spots. I know I'm a freshman, but I'm just coming out here to work every day, and my goal is to kind of make it challenging for the coaches to decide, who's first string, who's second string, who's third string. So that's kind of one of my main goals. But just coming to practice every day, working, getting better, getting time in the classroom with the coaches, and just being able to learn the playbook, and just becoming an overall better player.
And I know I kind of asked Jari in this, but just for folks that have been enjoying it, I want to hear your perspective. I mean, what is that dynamic like? Because I saw it practice, like you, DJ, Brock, blanking on Jones's first name, and everyone involved. I mean, y'all are constantly talking to each other. You throw one and Brock's saying something to you. How do y'all sit there and know, okay, I'm trying to take your job from you. I'm trying to make the depth chart hard for the coaches to make, but still helping each other, right? You're almost helping each other get better every single rep. How does that balance get created so effectively?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure a lot of people are kind of like, it's got to be a little weird in there. You're trying to take this position from this guy, but No, like, I mean, we're a tight knit quarterback room. Coach Tokarts preaches that. And, we got a lot of older guys in there and a lot of young guys. And, Coach Tokarts just wants us to help each other every time. And, I'm locker mates next to DJ, and, we talk a lot. And, they compliment me after any time I do something great. And, they kind of help me out if I mess up. So, everybody's kind of rooting for each other. But at the same time, we're coming out there to compete against each other. And, everybody wants to go be that number one quarterback. So, but, it's a good quarterback room, and we all, we're a tight knit family in there. And so we're definitely rooting for each other.
That's awesome, man. So, what was the moment when it clicked? Sorry, folks, we are answering questions. Throw them in the chat. Some of your questions, not that they're bad. I have a slow, simple brain, and Luke is not slow and simple. So I'm trying to translate them for me. So I asked him clearly, what was the moment when it clicked from playing safety to quarterback? Like, I guess, how long did it take once you you played quarterback? Walk us through that. How much quarterback had you played? You played safety, and when did it really click as a full-time quarterback?
So like my freshman year, it was strictly like, you're the bottom dude. I was running down, fortunate to get on. One of the things that about me is like, I hate riding the bench. Like, can't do it. So any way I can to get out on that field and play is what I'm going to do. And so freshman year, I was fortunate to make the kickoff team. So I was running down kicks, tackling people. And then going into my sophomore year, there were a couple of injuries at the safety position, and we were also having some trouble at the wide receiver position with catching. So they put me out there. They saw that I was a decent athlete, and they threw me out there, and it kind of just stuck. So my sophomore year, I started safety and wide receiver, while taking the number 2 reps at quarterback behind Holden. And then going into my junior year, I was working I would go every Sunday down to Jacksonville and work with Denny Thompson down at 6 Points, Jacksonville. So me and my dad would make that trip every Sunday and just, kind of stay on top of the quarterback game. And then going into my junior year that summer, every day we were out there working with my receivers, getting the timing down. I was meeting with Coach DePhillips, who was my quarterback coach, just kind of learning the plays and learning the process. And really, to be honest with you, it kind of just clicked from the beginning.
Yeah.
We came out hot. We had a great year, and was fortunate to end up winning a state championship in my first year starting quarterback.
How many did you win in high school?
2. So I won one my sophomore year and won my junior year. And the other 2, we fell short in the Final Four both times.
So that was a maybe smooth, maybe not way of double checking it. When we say you played safety, and folks, I want you to envision your high school, right? Like, you were a sophomore in high school, starting at safety on a state championship football team. I'm a little biased towards Georgia as well, living in Atlanta. Yeah. But one of the top 4 or 5 most competitive football states in the country. So it wasn't like you just played a little safety until you were a heck of an athlete, even on that team, which is really, really impressive. Has anything made you feel maybe a little overwhelmed since getting on campus? Maybe some football related, but anything maybe off the field as well, just adjusting to college?
Yeah. Football wise, definitely that playbook. It's a lot of stuff thrown at you, and it's a lot of stuff to kind of retain. So, I'm definitely continuing to work at that, but off the field, I'm a home person. I'm a homebody. So, being away from mom and dad kind of stinks.
Yeah.
Not having those home cooked meals every night, that stings a little bit, but FaceTime is a great invention. So that's kind of helping out a little bit, but I would definitely say that that's the hardest part, is being away from my family and, as well as my friends. It kind of stinks a little bit. All your friends are back home. Right. They're still having their senior year wrapping up. So seeing them doing all their things and I'm away, that kind of stinks sometimes too, but in the end it's worth it. And I'm excited to where I'm at.
Are there any like events like prom or anything that you're gonna be able to go back for this spring?
Yeah,
I know college ends a little earlier.
Recently went back for prom.
Cool.
We had our school's prom, and then there was also the all girls school prom. So I was able to go to both of those, which was pretty fun. Good to just be back home with my boys and go to prom. And
were your friends jealous of the hair? Because I know Benedictine's a military school, so you had to do
2
the
inches
haircut
on the top, 1 on the side. So they were definitely they were pretty upset that I got to have my flow going. But it was all good.
So let's fast forward. when you're the starting quarterback at Florida State, it has weird tenses in it. What former Knoll would you love to throw a touchdown to in a championship game?
Former Knoll?
Yeah. So what former, receiver, tight end, whatever, would you most want to throw a championship touchdown to?
I feel like I'm going to go with Mr. Fryer. I plan on throwing a couple touchdowns to his son going forward. So, to get 2 from the same family, I feel like that'd be pretty cool. So to throw 2 touchdowns to Mr. Fryer as well as Camden, I feel like, checking 2 boxes at once, that'd be pretty cool.
Awesome, man. We will note for those watching this matters for, he did say Mr. Fryer, not his wide receiver coach, who also is a former Knoll, or Nick O'Leary, who's also in that room. So just,
yeah.
But I'm sure they would be a close second and third as well.
Definitely.
Who's your favorite professional athlete growing up?
Growing up, that's a rough one. Like college, NFL,
professional. So just NFL, or were you a baseball guy? I know you talked about baseball.
Baseball guy.
No.
I mean, a little bit.
Let's do NFL. Yeah. Who's your favorite NFL player growing up, or anyone that jumped out to you?
I would say Christian McCaffrey. He's in the NFL now, so I'll say him. But watching him play at Stanford back in the day, I wanted to be like him. He was a white dude that was showing out in football. So definitely an idol that I looked up to. So I'd go with Christian McCaffrey.
Awesome, man. So obviously we are the Battles End, the NIL collective of Florida State football. I want to just kind of get your view on NIL. It's been around for 3 years. It's really ingrained in every aspect of college sports. It gives fans the opportunity to directly support y'all, but you came in a different era, right? If I talk to Mo or Darius or Richie or even Fitzgerald, it wasn't even a thought when they were coming out of high school. But how well prepared are y'all for this landscape? I mean, it's kind of all but just talk a little bit about what it's like to be sort of the first generation that went through almost all of high school with NIL being a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely exciting. I know that any player who's getting some NIL is, they're going to talk great about it. They're going to love it. But to be completely honest with you, I never really got into it. I was my main focus was, let me go perform on the field. And I'll let my parents handle the NIL aspect of it. I kind of wanted to stay out of it. I feel like, it kind of puts you in a weird spot. You don't want to be asking for money. You don't want to be throwing around numbers. It's a weird position to be put in. So I kind of let the parents handle that while I kind of, stuck to the main thing, which was, becoming a better football player and kind of focusing on the field stuff.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, no, it's just interesting again to hear that perspective. And, it's crazy to think, again, it's been about 3 years. Although folks, I don't know if anyone feels the same way. It's a little crazy when say professional athlete growing up and you say Christian McCaffrey. I'm like, I thought he was just at Stanford, it feels like. So anyway, man, we really appreciate you coming by. Last question. When folks walk into that spring showcase, what can they expect to see from Luke Kromenhoek?
Yeah, hopefully they can expect to see someone who's out there balling. I've been putting a lot of work in, and I'm going to continue to put a lot of work in, and throughout these practices that we have, and hopefully, I want to see it translate to the field, and I want the fans to see that, and I want them to kind of see that the future's bright, and we got a lot of great young athletes coming up, and I'm just excited to get to work.
Awesome, man. We'll let you get out of here. Thanks for stopping by for this spring football kickoff, and we appreciate you taking the questions, man.
Sir.
It's good to see you.